Okay, I think it's starting now. Okay, I think we are now live. Bear with me. I think it's starting now. Yeah, we're live. Yeah. Okay, great. Hi, Heather, how are you?
I'm good. We made it.
We did. Sorry to anyone who's been trying to join. I have been trying to set up the tech this morning, and my tech skills aren't that good, so I clearly need to improve them. But we're now live, I believe, into the Facebook group, and I am excited to be joined by Heather Black, who is the CEO at Supermums, and Supermums is one of our partners, and we've been working together over the last few years, and a number of our community are now alumni, I believe, and have been through the training. But today we're not going to focus so much, are we, on Supermums? We're going to talk more because Heather has so much experience of helping probably mainly women to retrain and relaunch their careers. And I think with over, 8 years experience of doing this, you're going to share.
Yeah, we're celebrating our birthday this week.
Absolutely. Are you? Is it 8 years?
8 years, yeah.
Wow. So we're going to dive a bit today in what some of those ingredients are that people need when they start to think about career change. And how do you think about that? And I'm going to hand over to Heather now. So do you want to just, before you start, maybe just give an intro to yourself and what your career change looked like? Because obviously you were employed and then you set up Supermums, and it'd be quite interesting, I think, for people to hear about your journey to Supermums.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So before I set up Supermums, I'd relaunched my career and gone through that journey of having kids and having to pivot and find something new. So took the steps to upskill, which we can talk more about on the session today. But before that, and I think what's important about the topic we're covering today is that previously I kind of had a role where I was researching the best type of support to help people relaunch their careers around employment and business development, and worked for a lot of local authorities and government bodies to help them design employability programs. So that was my background really, and helped me put together a program at Supermums that would put together a series of components, if you like, and what I call the key ingredients to help people relaunch successfully. So that's what we really wanted to talk about today was, if you're going to change your career, you might be working now but want to do something different, or you've been out for work a while, whether you're a man or a woman. We have had over the last 8 years, men and women do the program, whether it's been about relaunching for any particular purpose. I think there's some things that you definitely need to put in place around you, because from the research I've done and all the organisations I've worked with that do this as their speciality, it's not just about doing a training course, it's about packaging all this other stuff around you. And so that's what we really wanted to talk about today.
So I think that's really interesting. Obviously, we've got a huge group of people in our audience who have got to a point in their careers where they're no longer happy, it's no longer fulfilling them, and they do want change. And they just feel like it's a bit of a block, they've got a blocker in terms of how they move forwards. And so should we start by saying, maybe just talking about what some of those blockers are? I think there's, we talked a bit about confidence and, not knowing what to do next, and maybe identifying kind of what your skills are and what those might lead to. So do you want to sort of start, should we start there and sort of look at maybe some of those blockers or challenges that people have in their heads when they're thinking, where do I start with this?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, resonating to your point, that there's a lot of people might be thinking they need to change or have tried to change, but actually have lost the confidence because they're getting knocked back at their CV or their interview stage. And I think there's some kind of key things that you want to show and present up front that, you can build on yourself and get more prepared almost, to make sure that you're competitive in the job market. Because if you're looking to change career, or you're looking to get back into even the same career that you had before, but maybe you've had a few years out, I think it's really important to make sure that you've got up-to-date training. I think, we talked about tech now and getting on Facebook, but technology is moving so fast.
Yeah.
And tech is in everything these days, and the jobs are shifting as well. I mean, you go in shops these days. We went into Boots with my daughters on Saturday. All the kiosks have gone, and now you're using machines, right? So there is a massive shift towards a more emphasis on using technology within any job roles or creating technology. And I think making sure that you've got up-to-date training in whatever profession you intend to go into. One is that profession is still there and relevant, but two, that you've got the latest training. And you maybe have to invest in that yourself, or you can look at colleges, etc., to see what's available. But to be competitive and to relaunch your career or get back into a career, that's something you're going to really have to think about, I think. So that's the first thing, is making sure you've got credible, up-to-date training on your CV to be competitive. I think the other is to have a mentor, somebody who is there to verify your skills, can help you practice for a CV. I've always said to people that we mentor at Supermums, practice and rehearse for an interview and present. Do a presentation back to them, be rehearsed in what you're going to say. Obviously, you don't always know the questions they're going to ask, but you're going to get a pretty good idea, and you need to have a series of Q&As in your head where you can sort of, feel like you've got a very clear, articulate response about what you're good at, what your key skills, what your key attributes, what success stories have you got to share. There's some standard Q&As that you're always going to get in an interview, and to practice that and to have a mentor who works in that industry to practice it with. So you come to a presentation, you come to that interview, and you're able to present with confidence. And that's very similar to if you're going on stage. It's like an actor or an actress in a theatre. They have to practice their lines and rehearse it in order to feel confident. You don't just stand up and get the part on the first go. So going for an interview is exactly the same as that, I would say. So there are a couple of initial thoughts, Katy.
Okay, good. So you talked about getting a mentor, and we're talking about people who are in jobs, maybe who want to stay in jobs. So what about people who are thinking that they do want to leave their jobs? Because it's quite hard for them to identify maybe what training they might need, or what mentor they might need to look at, or do they need to maybe bring in a coach to help them rethink what it is that they might want to do. And I'd like just, maybe to explore that with you, because I think that there are people, there's two sides to this, aren't there? Some who are in their jobs, and then those who are thinking, I do want to leave my job and do something different, but I don't know where to start. So what advice would you have on that group of people?
So my answer to both those questions or scenarios is actually the same, because a coach can't tell you what you want to do. They're going to tell you to go away and do research. And for those that are wanting to take a step forward, again, it's about research. So when I was at that point of going, I'm wondering what my career options are, I did some research into certain areas I was interested in. And I looked at people's profiles on company websites. I looked at what qualifications they got. I then reached out and asked if I could have meetings and conversations with them. I looked at a LinkedIn profile and also looked at what training they had and found out more about them. And I just did the research. And that's what we sort of encourage at Supermums as well, is to kind of read and listen to people's case studies that we've got on our website. So you've got to do that research into what is this job? What does it do on a day-to-day basis? What training do I need? What's the key ingredients to success? Because only once have we done this groundwork and this research and got the confidence to go, actually, yes, this really sounds like it's for me. Yes, I could really see myself doing this, and I know what steps I need to take. Are you ever going to take that leap of faith and sort of go for it? So it's really talking to people. Like 60% of people that come to Supermums come through word of mouth, because people are talking about things at the school gates. So talk to your friends, talk to family members, talk to, whoever else is in your circle, and just start doing that research and investigation into the different options that you think might be on the table. And only when you find that thing that really gives you that spark are you going to take the leap.
So I love that. And I think you're right. I think that everyone that I've spoken to has gone through this type of career change. It's always started with a sort of a blank sheet where you're a bit like, where do I start? But actually, having those conversations, picking up with people that you know and talking about their jobs and what they enjoy, doing some research on LinkedIn, doing some research on groups like, Flexible Working People, where there's lots of different options, helps to sort of open your mind to what's available. And that then really helps to just have those conversations and start fine tuning what it is that maybe you want to do. And I think it is a process, and people want answers straight away, don't they? People just get, I think, as human beings, we just want to know the answer.
Yeah, and people are scared of asking, right? We offer free career consultations, just to find out, explore, discuss. The amount of people that don't book in their free consultation to find out more, it's that lost bit of research, really. So I think just squeeze every bit of juice out of everybody you can talk to, and to have those conversations to make an informed decision, because there's so many missed opportunities potentially, like, knowing whether something is right for you or not and exploring it and having a conversation is the best thing you can do in any of career options that you've got.
And so let's just talk about confidence. So I think a lot of the reasons why people don't necessarily take that step forward is because they haven't got confidence in themselves or to have those types of conversations. And so they become, I think it perpetuates becoming a bit more insular. And so how do we get people to find that confidence to take it from, just being at home or wherever in the workplace thinking, what do I want to do? What's on procrastination to action? What advice do you have there?
Well, coaching is really your coaching philosophy is really the thing that's going to shift somebody's mindset, because it is a mindset. If you're in a fixed mindset, if I can't do something, it won't be for me, and you're saying all these things to yourself, you've got this little gremlin on your shoulder just holding you back, right? This little voice is sat in your head, sat on your shoulder, saying all these negative things to you. And the first awareness of that is that awareness of it and being aware of it and telling it to go away, right? It's always been there throughout our whole life. And that's why, we really cherish coaching being a key part of these ingredients, because when you're changing career, you've got to have coaching and career coaching and career support, and having somebody mentor and support you and to say to you, as we are now, stop listening to that voice. That voice is not helping you. It's always part of us, but knowing how to stand up to it and say, you know what, I've got nothing to lose from having this conversation. I'm just information finding. I'm not making a commitment to anything. I can say no, it's just information gathering. It's actually going to boost your confidence one way or another way to make a choice. And actually, confidence comes from choices. It comes from being informed, and having those connections, is a key part of all of that. So you've got to coach yourself through this process and tell that little voice on your shoulder and your head to sort of, yes, I've heard you, but that's not going to help me move forward. And I think it's coaching is a key fundamental ingredient that you need. You need to coach yourself to have that growth mindset of, I need to explore. I need to look at the opportunities. I need to find out if something is for me, because only at that point do you get to that point where you'll find the answer.
Agreed. And I think you've used the word invest in yourself quite a few times already, invest, but not just invest financially, but invest in yourself in terms of researching and time and reading and all of those things. And even on a monetary level, sometimes you do need to invest to move forwards. And I think that's a real stumbling block, both in terms of people thinking about training, about coaches, about anything that takes them to the next step. They're nervous to make that financial investment, but actually that financial investment, could reap massive change and move you to exactly where you want to be if you're prepared to make it. And I think a lot of people are just sort of want things to happen but don't want to spend the money or invest to make that change.
It's the time, isn't it? So when I was 26, I had career coaching and I made my first shift in my career. I quit my job and wanted to research setting up a business. And actually, I hadn't quit my job at this point, but what I did in order to have the confidence to quit my job is I took a week off work and I booked meetings with lots and lots of people for that week. And that week and all those conversations gave me the confidence to quit my job and start a business. And I went from a 26k salary to earning 60k in that next year at 26. And then I built a business from that, because all those meetings gave me confidence to say, I can do this. Now, launching a new career and doing that research, what you call market research, is no different to what you do if you were starting a business. If you start a business, you're launching a new career. But what you do is you do all the market research. You don't just say, oh, I'm going to start a business tomorrow and not do any market research. And so it's the same philosophy, right? Whether you're investing in starting your own freelance business, growing a business, or starting a new career, it's doing the market research. And so sometimes I think people don't think about it in the same way, but it's the same philosophy. So that investment in time is perhaps just using a holiday for that.
Exactly. Okay, so in your capacity as CEO at Supermums and having been doing this now for 8 years, you've seen thousands of women go through career changes and you've helped them along that journey. What do you see, like, out of the people that you're training, what's sort of the common thread amongst those people who have taken that leap? You know, what sort of person is it? I'd be really interested to know, in your experience of retraining so many women who have taken the leap, what's the common thread between them all?
Well, they love being part of a community of other people on the same journey as them, because they've all experienced the same challenges of having that low confidence, trying to navigate it themselves, feeling a little bit lost, not sure what steps to take. And having spoken to Supermums and learnt more about the career opportunities and done their research on the website and read things, they then took that leap of faith. But what they were looking for, and sort of reiterate these key ingredients really, is one, they wanted a reputable training provider. They wanted one-to-one mentoring along the journey and somebody who could give them a reference and verify them and support and hold their hand on their sort of relaunch journey, which is what they get. They're part of a community of other people that are on the same journey as them, and they build these new friendships, and then they go to industry events together, and it's absolutely lovely seeing all these new friendships being curated. But they also get that career support and advice to know how to prepare their CV and then sort of take the steps to interview, and how to look for job opportunities and relaunch their LinkedIn profile, for example. So all these different things also get covered to help them set up for success. The other kind of facet of it as well, and which is another key point that feedback is to get some pro bono work experience. So we always place people with non-profits where they're doing some pro bono volunteer work experience after their training. Now, whether you did that with Supermums and the career choices we offer, or whether you did that in another industry, that is an opportunity that you could do, is to get some work experience back on your CV, to rebuild your confidence, to get another reference, and to just really, start that ball rolling, particularly if you've been out of work for a little while. And that's the reason why the Supermums, people come to Supermums and find the program really beneficial. So they're the sort of, I suppose that's the hat trick of things that you need.
Yeah, and I know we work with you and we work with others, and I think the common thread between all of you is the support piece, and knowing that, setting up on your own is really difficult just because you don't necessarily have that sort of support network around you. And you've talked about at Supermums having reputable training, reliable provider, a network of individuals in the community who are going through the same thing. And to be honest, that's the common thread amongst all of the different businesses and partners we have. You all offer that, and that means that they feel supported through the journey. And because setting up on your own is, it's a really daunting prospect. And you start with blank page and you have those conversations, and then you're like, I could do this, but actually I can do it with all this support around me, and that's really going to make the difference in me being able to take that step or not. Otherwise, you sort of just stand on the edge and you're feeling a bit terrified. And in terms of sort of skills and experience, let's just talk about Supermums, because that's what that's what you do and that's what you know. In terms of the backgrounds and the skills and the experience and the types of people who might be well suited to retrain and work with Supermums, just talk to me about that, because I think people listening will be like, well, is this for me? So what sort of backgrounds and experience are the people who might retrain or relaunch their career with Supermums have?
Yeah, so Supermums specialises in helping people get into 6 different career choices, particularly within the tech sector. And it really suits individuals that love helping to improve processes within a company, make sure that they've got really good data analytics, that they enjoy streamlining management processes, that they enjoy working with teams to kind of improve how they work every day. And I always say, it's about making people happier at work at the end of the day. It's about helping a business perform and a team happier in terms of what they do every day and how they function. Because what you do, and we work specifically with the Salesforce platform, is you're helping embed a new system into their way of working to help automate processes, to clean up data, to manage customers better, to track everything holistically in one place so you can see customer information and what you've done with a customer. And we help people. There's 6 different job roles you can go into. I feel like there's almost a job for everybody if you've got the appetite, because each job has different attracts different personality traits and attributes, if you like. But we help people figure out if one of these jobs is for them and whether they want to go down that route.
Okay. And I know you've got an admin course coming up soon. Do you want to just talk about that briefly?
Yeah, so our admin course starts the first week of November, and it teaches you the foundation of the platform. So it teaches you about Salesforce administration and what the system does and how you can manipulate it to manage customer data for an organization. And with that, you get hands-on work experience, you get a one-to-one mentor, you're with a cohort of other individuals, you get the career support. So you get that whole package support. But what it does is give you the foundation knowledge and skills to go into any of those 6 job roles if you want to. And from there, you would keep building your knowledge and experience. We'd highly recommend that you keep progressing with your training and development. It's not just a one course and then I'm off, that's it. Within the technology space, technology is always advancing and developing. So it's a starting point of a journey, and everybody gets really addicted to learning this technology and really, they really enjoy it. They get new badges, new certifications, they celebrate on LinkedIn. It's definitely addictive in terms of, seeing how many badges and certifications everybody's got. But it gives you a very rewarding career at the end of it, which can offer that flexibility and good pay, which every parent deserves, really.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get back to the relaunching your career, because we're running out of time. I just want to reiterate kind of what those key ingredients are. So if somebody, we've talked about research and confidence, and if you were just to sum up, somebody is watching this thinking, I do really want something different. Yeah. What would your kind of key advice be to get them sort of to that next stage?
So I think the key thing is, do your market research, do your research and see what job opportunities are out there. So that could be talking to your friends, colleagues, looking at these flexible working websites. And there's lots of different websites that focus on people helping people relaunch or find flexible careers. So do some research and find things that would be of interest to you. Supermums is obviously one of those websites and platforms that you can have a look at. When you've decided on something and you've had all those meetings and conversations and done the work, once you've decided on a route to go down, the key things that I would look for is a reputable training provider where the training is recognised by your prospective employer. Find a one-to-one mentor that is experienced in that industry who can support you and give you a reference and also help you get ready for job interview. Get a career coach if your confidence is, you need to boost your confidence and you need to quieten that little negative voice on your shoulder. You need somebody giving you that cheerleading support along the way. So career coaching might be really valuable. Try and relaunch with a group of people who are in a similar space as you. So you're not just treading this path by yourself. That can be equally valuable. And get some work experience. Start to embed all of that on your CV, and that will give you the best suite of things to have in place to successfully relaunch.
Love that. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to touch on the mentor bit before we finish, because you've talked about having a mentor. Where would you find a mentor? I mean, the career coach you would pay, and that would be a different sort of relationship. But I love the idea of having a mentor. How would you suggest people go about maybe finding a mentor to help to support them in this journey?
So it depends on the industry that you're going into. Through Supermums, we'd find people a mentor and match them. But we find our mentors by just reaching out to them or in companies and asking if they would like to mentor. So it's just about being bold and finding somebody that you really admire, that you like their profile. Perhaps they have a similar journey to you, and actually somebody can feel really honoured by being asked if they would be a mentor for you. What's important about a mentor relationship is that there is a sort of a structure to it, really. You're really clear on what your goals are and what you want to get out of the session, and you create a good framework. So when we match one of our supermums with a mentor, there is very sort of set homework that they will do each week, and a very clear sort of goal and plan of how they collaborate together, which makes it successful. There have been other mentoring programs in the Salesforce ecosystem that have just folded because there hasn't been that structure to it. And then the mentor isn't feeling like they're getting the value out of it, and the mentee then doesn't show up. So it's just about being really intentional. Like, if you want a mentor, really come up together on a very good plan with tangible goals that will make you both feel like you're getting the most out of it.
Okay, I love that. And I think the other thread that's come out of this is, like, don't be afraid to ask. You know, you have to sort of move things forward yourself. I think that, you know, it's about taking proactive steps and not just sort of being too passive in the process of change. Because I think that when you ask people, as you just said, some people are actually really honoured to do it. So whereas, you know, somebody might be feeling like, well, why would they want to do that for me? Or, you know, am I wasting their time? Or I want to set up a meeting, but I'm afraid that they'll think this. Like, there's all these sort of dialogues that go on in our heads, which are limiting us all the time from moving forwards. And I think, you know, what you've just said about just ask, some people might be really honoured to be asked, you know. So in your head, the dialogue is, well, they're going to wonder why I'm asking, or why would they want me to give up their time? But actually, people like to help, I think. And, you know, and I think that when you sort of put yourself out there, you get back. Whereas if you're sort of always too afraid or too nervous to push forward, change doesn't happen. So that's all really good advice.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to be bold and quieten that little voice, as we talked about. That's probably the biggest takeaway.
Yeah. So I think that there's been a lot of really good takeaways here. And I think the whole invest piece is really important. Both investing in yourself with your time and your research, as well as maybe financially, are really key. And I think taking some of these steps will start moving people forward in that sort of next stage of what does, you know, that career change or that career pivot look like, and having those conversations. And I agree with you. There's lots of people who say, I don't know what I want to do, don't want to do. But they, you know, there's no obligation with any of these types of conversations. Having conversations, you know, doesn't mean that you're tied into anything. So just pick up the phone and take advantage of having chats with people to find out if that could be for you. And I think that's really important. So if somebody wanted to find out about whether Supermums was for them, you have people, don't you, calls they can set up. Should we just drop the link maybe in underneath this chat where people who might be interested in having a conversation with you can go? All right, well, Heather, that was really good. I feel like that was really insightful. And I think that people who are sort of going through that challenging time where their heads are all fuzzy and confused and kind of don't quite know what steps to take will get some really practical outputs from this session. So thank you so much for sharing that with everybody. If anyone wants to get in touch with Heather, she's an active member of the group. Supermums is one of our partners. We love working with them, and we've had some great conversations also with some of the people who have gone through Supermums training, and all of those Facebook Lives are in the thread. So if you just search, you can go back. And actually, I really love hearing the stories from people who have been through the training, who talk about kind of how stuck they were, how they went through their own process of doing the research, how they stumbled across Supermums, and how, you know, and now look at their journey. So I think, you know, it's always good to hear it from people who've actually been through it. So if you are listening and thinking, could this be for me? You can also go and search some of those conversations that we've had with some of the people who've been through training, who come from all sorts of different backgrounds and can share their own experiences. And I'm sure Heather could introduce you to people too, just to have those conversations, because they're so important to help you to make decisions about what you want to do next. Any parting words from you, Heather?
No, absolutely, completely agree with all of that. And we've got lots of case studies on the website as well at supermums.org. So I'll drop both the links there. And yeah, absolutely, go and do your research and hopefully.
Yeah, go and do your research and step out your comfort zone.
Yeah, good luck with it all. Thank you for having me, Katy.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, Heather.
Well, bye.
Bye.